So, kind of a lame day today because it's supposed to be the 6th or 7th roster update of NBA 2K23 today, but they decided to not change the ratings at all. All they did was update the trade deadline changes, and that's all that they did. So because of that, there's only player changes to different teams, but no rating changes. So what I'm going to do today, because I already talked about the trade deadline and who ended up where, I'm going to talk about player ratings and who I think deserves upgrades and who deserves downgrades when the next roster update comes along. That's what I'm doing in today's video. If you like that kind of content, please join the pack and subscribe. Let's get it, man. I'm going to start off with the Philadelphia 76ers with James Harden. I believe he is in dire need of an upgrade. The Philadelphia 76ers are one of the best teams in the NBA. Joel Embiid's had a very good year, MVP caliber, but a lot of it now has to do with James Harden's ability to get him open and set him up for good plays. James Harden's probably the best playmaker in basketball right now this season, with I think one of the best turnover to assist ratios and the most assists in the game, from my understanding. At least in the last 10 games, he for sure is. He's scoring probably his most efficient he's ever had in his career because he's scoring less to make sure he has a better field goal percentage. He's been tremendous for the Philadelphia 76ers. If he continues to play like this as the second best player, I can see them winning the championship. I still, it's a close year, especially all these trades. The Phoenix Suns got a lot better. I think I have the 76ers winning the NBA championship. That's a personal opinion that I've repeated multiple times already. I don't want to change my opinion ever since the start of the year, so I'm going to stay with the 76ers. I think they have the best shot. I think they have so many good players on top of Joel Embiid being an MVP caliber player. James Harden deserves to be a 92 overall +2. With the Milwaukee Bucks, I doubled down that Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to be the highest rated player in the NBA. The reason I say this is because they made LeBron James a 98 overall. That's fine. If you want to make LeBron a 98 for respect, I understand that. But that is disrespectful to Giannis to have anybody above him. If anything, they need to be tied as the best player. So I'm going to put Giannis at +1. He is the consensus best player in basketball. I know that Jokic and Embiid have better cases for MVP, but we all know that MVP and best player mean two completely different things. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in basketball, and I do believe the rating needs to show that, especially because of how good he has been these last couple years. I know that a 98 overall is really high, but he has turned himself into a top 20 all-time player. I don't think it's that crazy to say he deserves to be more or less that rating. We're going to skip to the Los Angeles Clippers, and we start with Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard's rating had dropped to a 90 overall for a lot of reasons, but the biggest one was injury. Because he was injured so much, whenever he came back, he was looking like a shell of himself. But that was just because he was trying to get back into rhythm. I've repeated multiple times, I don't think it's cool when 2K downgrades players after they come back injury because it takes them a little bit. Give them a couple months and then start giving them downgrades. But they gave Kawhi Leonard a downgrade immediately, and it was obviously a bad choice. He's still one of the best defenders in basketball while putting up 27 points per game in the last 10 games, while also being one of the most efficient players at his position. It is crazy how good this man is to this day. He is a 95 overall right now. In my personal opinion, that is a +5 for Kawhi. If you don't have him that high, it's just bias because he was that high before. I can't see him being anything lower than a 95. He's playing that good. We're going to stay on the Clippers with the new addition onto the team, Eric Gordon. Now, Eric Gordon was on the Houston Rockets getting more minutes than usual, and because he was getting more minutes on a bad team, he was scoring a lot of points. That's great for Eric Gordon. I do believe his rating needs to go up to a 77 overall +2. He's going to get a lot more minutes with the Clippers. He's going to be on a team that's actually going to need him to play, and it's going to work out. Again, this might be an overreaction because he was on the Rockets and the Rockets sucked, but I do think Eric Gordon has shown for the past couple years that he has been good. He just never got the chance to show it on a good team. I won't talk too much about Terry Rozier up next. Terry Rozier is very good. The thing is, the Hornets suck. So he has a bad field goal percentage, but he's averaging a lot of points. I think 25 points per game in the last 10 games. I'm going to put him +1. But again, there's no doubts because the team is not very good and he's getting the opportunity to shoot as much shots as possible, right? For the Sacramento Kings, I think De'Aaron Fox +1. I'm not 100% certain, but I think he does need to go up. His playmaking has stepped up in the last 10 games. His scoring has actually been very, very efficient. I think he deserves it. The Kings are the third best team in the West. Now, who knows how long that's going to last when the Suns and the Lakers and all these teams got better, but well, I don't know if the Lakers can actually catch up, to be honest with you. But there's other teams in the West that look very good when healthy. The Kings are still very good, and you don't get to the position they are with only one great player. I do think De'Aaron Fox is also a major reason for this. I would put him at +1 to an 87 overall. I think he deserves it. We have a couple changes for the Nets that I think need to happen with this brand new looking team that looks very, very weird, and I have no clue how they're going to perform. But they did win last night without most of these players, by the way. This is what I think is going to happen at the first roster update. First, Spencer Dinwiddie is going to go up +2. I have two major reasons for this. First, in the last 10 games, Spencer Dinwiddie has been very, very good. I personally believe for the most of the year he's been bad, but for the last 10 games, he's looked fantastic. He's had himself a bucket kind of stretch. On the Nets, they're going to command him to score even more. You lose Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, someone needs to get buckets. And even though Bridges can also do that, I do think Spencer Dinwiddie is probably going to be the leading scorer, or at least one of the leading scorers for the next couple games. He already showed that last night, and I think that will continue. He's back home with the Nets. It's going to be good for him. I think he's an 84 overall, tied as the second best player. However, there's one other player that's going to get a bit of upgrade, and that is Cam Thomas. I'm expecting a +5 for Cam Thomas to an 80 overall. With 3 40-point games in a row and then a 20-point game last night, Cam Thomas is an official bucket. He is going to be good. Everybody knew. If you've watched my channel, you know I've talked very highly of Cam Thomas and how the Nets were not giving him a chance. Well, now they gave him a chance, and he's proving them immediately that they should have played him forever ago. I do expect him to get more minutes. He's going to probably start for the Nets, and I do think he's going to be averaging around 25 points per game in the rest of the season. He is that good of a player. He will go up in rating for sure. For the Denver Nuggets, I have Jamal Murray. Now, I have said since the start of the year that Jamal Murray should have been the second best player on the Nuggets easily. The reason why they didn't is because Aaron Gordon has had a good year, and he's had a good year to this day. But Jamal Murray is clearly the second best player on this team. He is the second best scorer. He's very efficient at his position, and he's a great playmaker. He deserves to be here. I'm really interested to see if he can perform just as good as he did in the bubble this year in the playoffs, because if he does, the Nuggets have a really good shot of winning an NBA championship. But right now, Jamal Murray is an 86 overall +2, and I would not be shocked if it rises even a little more than that. He's such a good player, and I really, really hope he can stay healthy and plays this good in the playoffs. For the New Orleans Pelicans, I'm going to quickly talk about Trey Murphy. I'm going to give him a +1 over Herb Jones. Maybe that's a controversial opinion, but he has been playing fantastic in the last couple games. In the last 10 games, he's been one of the leading scorers for the team. He deserves to be up here. Kind of a scary one, to be honest with you. For the Suns, DeAndre Ayton. It's kind of terrifying. In the last 10 games, DeAndre Ayton has been one of the best rebounders, one of the better scorers as a center, and he's been very efficient. And then they just added Kevin Durant. Like, excuse me, bro? That is terrifying. This team, when everybody is clicking, they're probably the favorites to win it. I know I've predicted the Sixers, but in terms of just talent, no one in the NBA has more talent than the Suns right now. DeAndre Ayton is looking fantastic. They're going to need to see if Devin Booker and KD are still healthy and playing good healthy. And then Chris Paul needs to find it again because he's been struggling all year. But there's a really good chance that everyone's going to be clicking at the same time when playoffs come around. I have DeAndre Ayton. I'm going to put him tied with Chris Paul at an 86 overall. I think he deserves that straight up. For the Portland Trailblazers, Damian Lillard +3 to a 95 overall. He is the leading scorer in the NBA in the last 10 games, averaging 37 points per game in 10 games. Crazy numbers, okay? Now, he's been trying his hardest to get this team into a playoff position. They are struggling to get there, but Nurkic, I believe, is coming back from injury. So they have a really good chance here. It's just that, you know, Dame's carrying. He's trying his hardest. He's playing absurd. He's putting up absurd numbers. We had him at a 95 overall in his prime, and I think he's playing just as good as his prime. So why not a 95 overall? I know that there's a lot of players who are really good in the NBA right now, and I know it's like hesitant to put so many players in the 95 overall club, but he has earned it. He has. And the last player is someone I forgot to mention, and that is Gary Payton II. Now, Gary Payton II has been traded back to the Warriors from the Blazers. He was such a good defender. I'm happy for the Warriors to getting him back. I think they really wanted to get him back, and this is a good piece. They need a little more defense on this team, so that's a very good addition. I cannot wait to see how it works for the Warriors. Okay, I need to stop this video and end it off with a little conversation with you guys. This is for the true fans, because forget the people that just watch it just to watch the videos. For the people that actually come here every single video and watch. Quick conversation. So last video, I made a huge mistake. I said that Jay Crowder was having a good year, and when they added him to the Bucks, I said that that was a good addition because he was having a good year. Well, I was wrong. In fact, Jay Crowder has not played at all this year. Now, I'm going to keep it real with you. This NBA season has been probably the least watched NBA season ever for me. I think it's been such a boring regular season. The only games I've really watched is like Knicks games and Lakers games when I thought they were interesting. That's mostly it. And then I've watched a couple random games here and there whenever I thought they were interesting, but that's it. I haven't watched a lot of Nets games this year, so I didn't realize that Jay Crowder wasn't playing. So I apologize. You know, my job is to talk about remember, I got to talk about all 30 NBA teams, what's going on with them, their players. Obviously, I'm going to make mistakes. That's not the first time I made a mistake about a player, by the way. But I just want to clarify for the people that come to watch these videos every single day, don't be surprised when I make mistakes. It's going to happen. I'm going to get players wrong. I have not watched every single team in the NBA this season. I'll be honest and say it. But I try my best. I research when I can. I look at stats when I can. And I do my best to figure it out based off of what I've learned previously or watched previously. That's what I do. But thank you guys for watching. If you like this kind of content, please join the pack and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.